Oh no, it's not working.
It's not.
Yeah, it's working. So, well, I'll start with a short overview. So, again, this is related to Oracle version. I didn't have a chance to do anything with Postgres version. So, 100% of our customers are Oracle. So we work with Oracle only at this time. So basically, if you want to load data into tranSMART, there are several standard ways to do it, right? So you can use original KETTLE workflows that are packaged with tranSMART. You can use GUI tool from Sanofi, which also uses KETTLE workflows as an underlying engine. Or you can just manually upload data into Oracle tables and run stored procedures, right? So basically, when we faced the need to upload the significant number of studies into tranSMART, neither of those ways worked well for us. So we developed our own version, and I think that's beneficial for the community to use it if you have similar needs. So basically, it's command line tool. There is no GUI. It's meant to be fully automated, so you can of course run it manually from the command line, but you can also put it on schedule on the server, like we do. Like we run it every 6 hours, and it uploads new studies from the folder. So basically, the algorithm is pretty simple. You put studies, and I'll talk about it later, but you put studies in the certain folders on the file system, and the tool configuration, or you can specify configuration, the command line parameters is the way it works. It knows where to search for the studies. So each study has its own folder, and the folder name becomes the study name. And I'll talk about it a little bit later. So what the tool does, it's actually very simple. It processes all the studies in that folder. It looks for clinical data first, uploads clinical data, then it looks for expression data, then it uploads RBM data, and next, and also it can upload metadata for those studies. And then once the study upload is finished, if it's successful, then it marks it as successful. And it's also simple. There are no hidden files, no flags in database. It just renames the folder, so you can see right away. Why not using KETTLE? Well, if you look at one of the components, well, good luck debugging that. So no offense here. I like KETTLE. I like Pipeline Pilot and KNIME and other workflow tools. But once your workflow reaches certain complexity, all those visual workflows just become programmer's nightmare. You can't really run a diff on the and compare previous and current version, right? And you know, from a programmer standpoint, it's a nightmare to maintain. So what we did, we rewrote it in Groovy, so it's in line with all other tranSMART code. So it's Groovy based. Of course, like when you package it in jar file, all the drivers, like whether it's Oracle or in the future Postgres, it's all there. So you just need that single jar file. You don't need anything else. And the configuration file is pretty simple. You just specify the connection parameters to the database, and that's it. So it, as I said, it doesn't have GUI. So if you're like looking for something that has a nice interface, then I recommend looking at Sanofi's tool. But this is something that is destined to be fully automated. So basically, it does detailed logging. So as we heard on the REUTERS session yesterday, one of the pain points was that KETTLE workflows, when you run them, well, they always quit with success, so you can't really tell if it failed or was successful. And the second is that it doesn't output anything to stdr, so you can't really sort. So this tool actually does output error messages to stdr stream, and I just added a flag to fail and stop on fail, so if it fails it can stop uploading further. So currently it supports clinical and gene expression that works in production system, and RBM data, well, it works, but we have some glitches in the stored procedure. So the original stored procedure didn't work at all, so we did changes that made it work, but it's not finished yet, so you can experience some weird issues, but we're actively working on it. And as I said, once it processes the files, it just renames the directories. Well, that's how it looks. You just run it in the command line and it outputs the log. And also it includes all the logs from the stored procedures in the same place. The folder structure that is needed for that, it's basically you just create some folder, and actually I forgot to put one more layer here. So basically you put public studies and internal studies, whatever else, like top level folders, and that under that top level folder you'll have studies. And each study, well, all studies here are prefixed because it's already processed, but basically you'll not see this done or fail thing. It will be just study name. So the folder name is the study name. It's simple. So whatever you put there, it will be uploaded like that. And once you run your procedure, it will process all the folders and it will mark them either as failed or as done. And there are like command line options to disable renaming if you want so, especially on failed. As for data format, it's similar to what we have in the KETTLE workflow. So there is like mapping file that does column mapping, that's for clinical data format, and the actual data file. The same for expression data, so you'll have a mapping file. There is a standard naming convention here for all the files, and the gene expression data file, and the data type is actually specified as a suffix to the file name. And you'll also need a platform file that you can download from Geo directly, or just do, I mean, if it's some custom data set, you can create your own platform definition file. And as for the description, right, when you upload the Geo study and the platform for the first time, you need a description, and the tool takes care of it for you, so it will go to Geo and download description for the platform. And for RBM data, it's also similar. You'll need a mapping file to map the names to the corresponding genes, and the data file, which looks similar to, it's kind of mix of gene expression and clinical format. Well, some common issues. Again, it's specific for Oracle version. I don't know if it's the same for Postgres. But there is one important limitation that some don't really know about yet, and that limitation is that you cannot upload multiple studies at once. So if you start one ETL procedure and some guy starts another one, they will call the same stored procedure in Oracle, which truncates temporary tables, and they're not really temporary, they're just normal tables in the database. And basically it can screw up another upload. So be careful. Whatever way you use KETTLE or my ETL or Sanofi tool, be careful not to upload several studies at once to Oracle. And also, it's also related to the stored procedure that we experience pretty poor performance for the clinical data upload, like large clinical data and gene expression data uploads. And that has to do with indexes. If you drop indexes and upload, it works pretty fast, but for production system, you don't really want to drop indexes every time you upload data. So this is something to consider, and basically what we are going to do probably just to get rid of, and I talked to Jinlei about it, and it looks like this is how it works in a Postgres version. So we want to get rid of stored procedures and just upload the data directly into tables and do the all the transformation on the client side. That will be much more efficient. So I guess, well, the last slide is just where to get it. I can't put it in the main tranSMART GitHub page yet. We'll be working with Terry on that. I just want to make sure that our RBM data loader is finalized and all issues fixed before I do that. But if you want to try it now, you can go to my GitHub page. You can, even if you don't memorize it now, if you go to the main tranSMART page and go to the list of forks, you'll see my repository over there. And of course, if you have any questions, you can email me.